Hey everyone, my name is Fervid and welcome back to Honkai Star for part 2 of the version 3.2 story quest. Now, in this quest, we're in a quest called Papyrus Read the Blasphemer's Will. Now, in the last video, we have undergone, and the main character has undergone Oronix's trial, and we evolved Mem into someone that can speak English, so yay for evolution. And we can actually hear the Titans' words clearly, even though barely. Drink. And we found out that not only that I asked myself a question, how did we survive that crash from the beginning of the Enforced story? Turns out we didn't, and we lacked a future, apparently. Turns out that our soul, half of our soul was stolen by Thanatos, I think. And apparently Fuli only gazed upon us to preserve us in the moment of being alive. So in other words, we don't have long to live. Probably about 15 hours, or maybe in their terms, 15 days. So in other words, the Trailblazers is going to have to figure out how to find Thanatos, and hopefully we get back our souls so we can be completely whole and still be alive. And all the while, Anaxa is preparing his move by seeking shelter or seeking some help from the Council of Elders. But he does have an ulterior motive by wanting to have an audience with the Kefali as well. And we also discovered that he also sees shades of what appears to be Lord Nias, who is supposed to be the Nikodor's reason. In other words, his human form. Turns out, it was Nikodor in his human form before he became Nikodor. And Circe's, well, Circe's was called Calypso. And another one that joined in the conversation was someone named Polyxia, who looks a little too familiar, that looks like Castorice. So here I am as Dong Hong, looking for clues to help our predicament by examining what appears to be these monsters here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video as well, and I will probably see you then, because apparently the game still lags and it might have cut myself some off, so be prepared for the edits. Black monsters are twisted in form, and their life has turned to ash altogether with their souls. It's impossible to figure out their form when they were still alive. These are the remains of a black-type monster. It does look different from the Titan King from up close. What's that underneath it? A scroll? It's going to lag my game, I know for sure, and it's not even evening. Like, there we go. The scholars' debates, a recorded debate between Venerationists and Newsporists scholars, so we all recall that state that dared touch the sky, but what were they really? Just blind masses manipulated by ambitious politicians who dared challenge the Titan's authority? A completely meaningless attempt, an absolute mistake, says the Venerationalist scholar. The Newsforest scholar would say, you Venerationalists have bowed to the Titans for so long, you've forgotten a scholar's true purpose. Making a mistake does not mean the act was meaningless. Even those students new to the Grove understand this from basic logic lessons. An entire city-state reduced to ashes proved the skyship's construction was a mistake. To me, that's precisely the meaning they achieved through sacrifice. Am I hearing this right? Such a statement! Are you converting to venerationalism? The Venerationalist scholar says. No, I'm simply examining the matter from another perspective. Newsforest. Legible, the content ends here. As I expected, the Grove doesn't forbid discussions about the sky. It's a debate between two scholars about the skyships. Aglaia also made mention of the ships when she interrogated us, a memory I'd rather forget. I'll hold on to this for now. With any luck, this journey won't leave us empty-handed. Actually, you know what? I think I may change it. Even though I'm playing as Dong Hong, I don't feel like I would use him more than enough, but that's Hyacinth? Why is she surrounded by so many monsters? As much faith as I have in her, it's probably a good idea to help her out there.
Really now? This is way more trouble than I could have asked for.
Need a hand?
Or you could sit back and watch.
Are you saying that because you're secretly a character that is that is secretly strong in disguise as a healer? I can't tell if you're serious or not, but being hard to read isn't without its perks, I suppose.
I'm kidding, Danny. Lend me a hand, pretty please. All right, now let's get him.
You do? Alright. Alright, so... yeah, let's go auto. Let's go. This place is practically in ruins. What happened? There shouldn't be this many monsters here.
The Black Tide is remarkably quick to detect the light of Amphorius. So or rather, the blessings of the Sky Priest in me, might have unknowingly called them to me.
How?
Anyway, never mind that for now. Here, you might want to have a look at this. I found it around here and thought it might be of interest to you.
Okay, there it goes. The Scholars Debates 2. Let's see. U3PO. I thought. Well, then enlighten me. What exactly do you mean by examining from another perspective? Simple, you see. When we stand normally, the sky is above. When we stand on our heads, it's below our feet. Ha! I don't even want to know what kind of situation inspired you to make such exalted theories. By the way, I have a student who loves to write satirical comedies, and once wrote about a fool who could not figure out a question no matter what. As I said, there's no reasoning with you venerationalists. You're like Dromuses, huge yet always gazing downward at the earth, while I want to be the wasp that stings the Dromus. What if that state's tyrant's defeat simply proved that among all paths to Aquila, the skyship was the wrong one? Anaxagoras, you impious blasphemer! Mark my words, you will eventually answer for your sacrilege. I doubt your students, or that young teaching assistant girl, have any idea what secret research you're truly conducting. Anaxagoras. He's the scholar who fused himself with the core flame of reason.
This is new. I didn't know Professor Anaxa was researching the sky. He's never mentioned anything about it.
Finance said Anaxa might be opposed to the flame chase journey.
Might is an understatement. Anaxa has never been one to venerate the gods, nor has he ever found it within himself to put any faith in the prophecy. People have come to think of him as a heretic, even in a place as liberal as the Grove. Yet, it is also this very blasphemer that Circe's favors. Fate sure works in mysterious ways.
I picked up a scroll on my way here too. It looks like it may be related to the one you're holding.
Oh? Let me have a look. By the looks of them, these scrolls are records of two conversations that took place in the same setting, one after the other.
There's still so much I don't know about the Grove. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Who are the venerationalists?
The Grove of Epiphany is home to 7 schools of thought. While all 7 schools are founded on the ideologies of Thanatos, the first scholar, each is unique in its own way. Among them, the Venerationists revere and worship the Titans the most. As the sage of the Venerationists, Euthyphro has always been at loggerheads with Anaxa. If we were to place the 7 sages on the scales of Talanton, Anaxa and Euthyphro would be placed on opposite sides to achieve balance.
A very illustrative explanation, thank you. So, was it a mistake to build the skyships?
Nearly everyone in Amphorius has heard the story of the skyships by now. Aquila's stature is loftier than the heavens, and their divine retribution is merciless. That's why it's no use building giant skyfaring ships. Oh, but I do wonder if a supercharged mini Treaty cannon could slip past their watch.
It's possible. I just choked. Drank the wrong pipe. That was a joke, right? So what is Anaxa's field of study? Probably souls.
Newsporists primarily study the application of alchemy in soul repair. Everyone considers Anaxa a blasphemer, but that has never stopped him from sharing his ideas, no matter how taboo. If you must say that he's hiding something, then it's likely what lies beneath his eye patch.
So I don't have any more questions.
Anaxa often says that every failure brings us one step closer to the truth. Perhaps, to him, the crash of the skyship carries a different interpretation. The firmament is not impenetrable. On the contrary, it was precisely because the skyship represented the first step toward breaking free from the shackles of the earth that it provoked the wrath of the Sky Titan and brought divine punishment upon itself. It's a shame that the majority of the Grove's research on Aquila was headed by the Venerationists, with sacrificial rituals making up a predominant part of their findings. Discourse about more esoteric subject matters in relation to Aquila dwindled even further after the skyship incident. So much so that even this scroll is completely new to me.
Don't worry about it. We'll just collect everything we can find on the Titans for now. There's something else that's caught my attention, though. This says that Anaxa is conducting secret experiments of some sort.
That's what I'd like to know. What are these experiments he's involved in? Even I, the assistant lecturer, know next to nothing about them. I have a bad feeling about this. Could there be more to what happened at the Grove?
I would assume so. Damn lag. Hang on.
This is the Library of Philia, a place where the Grove stores its collection of tomes. Other than books written by the 7 schools, you can also find philosophical texts, ballads, and religious writings from the Outlands here. Cities that desire to learn from the Grove were apparently expected to contribute knowledge of equal value to what they sought. We've had more than our fair share of hilarious episodes over the years. For instance, it's said that the Erythrocheramists once borrowed a manuscript from a certain author, but ended up returning a copy instead of the original. What's more, the original manuscript was supposedly then hidden here.
Yeah. That doesn't seem like a nice thing to do.
Nice? No need to hold yourself back, Danny. You can just tell it like it is. Their behavior was no different from bandits.
Well, if you don't mind, did the Grove ever rob Castrum Kremnos?
Whew. You've got me there. Some said you couldn't even find a dictionary in Castrum Kremnos, so I guess they were spared. There are too many books in the Library of Philia. Flipping through them all will take too long. Why don't we use the Biblioslate to search for the texts we need? We can bring them back to Akama for reading after that.
Agreed. This place isn't safe. We should leave as soon as we're done here. There are still some several more scrolls strewn all over the place. I'll gather them while you pull up those texts. This way, nothing will be overlooked. Alright, let's investigate the scrolls. A record of the many research topics a Caprice scholar has applied for, and the replies from their school's sage about these topics. Topic 1. A discovery that many mythical beasts renowned for their longevity actually reside in areas with poorly managed birth and death records for such creatures. Permission to research? Reply, lacks research significance, not approved. Topic 2. An observation of real plants within the grove imitating the growth patterns of nearby white dryads. Permission to research? Reply, falls under the domain of the Lotophagus school. Not approved. Topic 3. Investigating the feasibility of placing flying birds into rocket tubes to guide the direction of the rocket's flight. Permission to research. Hiccups. Fly too fanciful. Not approved. The subsequent topics grew increasingly eclectic. That's how you say it. Yet the outcome of the replies remained unchanged. Impressive tenacity. Hopefully it helped him survive the black tide. Then there's another scroll here. A book covered in annotations from many scholars. It's titled The Art of Sophistry, 40 Ways to Improve Your Debating Skills. You skim through it, and the highlighted methods include virtual causation, false premises, contradiction conversion, conflating prevarication, and reality. Misinterpret reality. That's why I mess up my words. So, misinterpreted punctuation, misattribution, and generalizing specifically, among others. Not specifically. Specificity. Ugh. Amidst it are scholars' exclamations. A true eye-opener. The art of language knows no bounds. If I can't master sophistry, I can at least learn to defend myself against them as an honest man, and so on. The last resort is, when all else fails, employ brute force. In other words, punch him in the face. This isn't going to be of any help, for sure. I mean, debating? Tough subject. These are complaint letters from the scholars about Anaxagoras, a blasphemer. There's a thick stack of letters. Based on the dust accumulated and the perfectly intact seals, the complainee did not even bother opening them, and just chucked them aside into a corner, as it should be. This is about Anaxa. I should read this. Hyacinth, you should come have a look too.
Ugh, it's so dusty in here. Whoa. Are these all complaints about him?
I mean, the man does give Cyril F's. It does give Cyril, he don't give a damn.
I can already see what they must have written. Anaxa has no respect for the gods. His very existence undermines order in our society. They're probably all things like that.
Does Anaxa hold that much influence?
Why else would they call him the Great Performer? When Anaxa established his school of thought, the first thing he apparently did was read his own work to everyone. Are the Titans truly an accurate reflection of what humans think gods should be? Worlds created by gods are indubitably perfect, but what of Amphorius? Only foolishness and insensitivity everywhere you turn.
An uncanny impersonation. What happened after? Was that supposed to be an impersonation of him?
They marched him straight to the seat of judgment before he could finish. Though what he took on in the end was more of a debate than an actual trial. He had to address every one of the scholar's allegations, or face expulsion from the grove. The first allegation was... Do you agree that since the Titans created the heavens and earth, so the mountains, rivers, and seas must likewise be their creations?
Am I supposed to put myself in Anaxa's shoes and answer that? No. Why are you giving me choices here? As told in the myths, the seas, the skies, and the earth are all, beyond the shadow of a doubt, creations of the Titans.
Anaxa would have probably been spared a lot of trouble if he had answered this way. Instead, he quoted past instances of the flame chase journey, and posited that humans have the potential to take over the divinity of Titans. Needless to say, his critics didn't take kindly to his answer. So they followed up with a second allegation. You claim to be studying souls, yet you are, in fact, defiling them and committing acts condemned by the gods. Do you admit it?
That's a serious allegation. Did he really do that?
Anaxa always wears an eye patch, never removing it, even when alone. Some say he used one of his eyes as an alchemical ingredient. Every being in the world owes their safekeeping to Kefali, and this is even more so for the Chrysos heirs who have divine blood coursing through them. If he has really done something of that nature, then it'd indeed be sacrilegious. Thankfully, they had no way to prove it, so it amounted to nothing more than an allegation in the end. One by one, Anaxa engaged in wars of words against those who would challenge him. Toward the end, a scholar asked him, Anaxagoras, have you any respect for the gods? It was only after a brief silence that he answered, I have never denied that titans are meant to be noble constructs.
Well, he didn't say that the Titans are not noble. Rings louder in this case.
Yes. I'm not sure how that controversy was eventually resolved. But what's for certain, at least, is that Anaxa was allowed to stay in the grove where he continued his research, despite being regarded as a heretic. By the way, this stack of complaint letters has reminded me of a place in the grove. We may find clues there that aren't on the teleslate. I'm talking about Anaxa's alchemy lab, hidden between the cornerstones.
Given the Grove's meticulous approach to archiving, could there really be such an oversight right under their noses?
It's a well-kept secret. Among the 7 sages, excluding the nominal chief sage, each has a private sanctuary where they can conduct research undisturbed in their free time. Even the administrators of the Library of Philia are restricted from accessing those places and documenting the sage's research. But with the grove in this state, I'm sure Anaxa won't be mad even if we sneak into the lab for a short while. Right?
You sticky. The trees, they're like in the days.
Where is everything?
Huh. Great.
Materials for alchemical experiments, matrix diagrams, and even the seal to the lab. They're all gone. The black tide destroyed it all.
No wonder we didn't see any defense mechanisms along the way. Have you ever been here before?
No, not even close. Not only are alchemy experiments high-risk activities, but Professor Anaxa also has a penchant for using bizarre materials. Students often saw him walk in looking bright as rain, but come out covered in soot with his hair singed. Naturally, no one dared to come near this place.
Okay, there was a bit of a lag there, so you couldn't see all this here, so let's read it again.
No, not even close. Not only are alchemy experiments high-risk activities, but Professor Anaxa also has a penchant for using bizarre materials. Students often saw him walk in looking bright as rain, but come out covered in soot with his hair singed. Naturally, no one dared to come near this place.
Okay.
Huh? That bookshelf over there seems to be the only thing still intact.
I think secret passage. These are the materials requested by Castorice. Documents from various fields have been compiled in one place, including Titan creations, the universality of soul, alchemy doctrine, and so on. Most of the materials look to be within the research domain of the Neurospore school of thought. However, a document titled A Study of the Chrysos Heir's Background is mixed within. The Holy Maiden of Yannanospolis, Tribi, Trian, and Trinon, descendants of the Holy Maiden from the Temple of the Tree Fates. Gold Weaver Aglaia of Agama from the Mnestia priestly family. The Prince of Castorice, Hyacinth of the Twilight Courtyard. All of their ancestry have varying degrees of connection to the Divine Titans and their divine authorities. Does the golden blood come from the heritage of priest families or royal bloodlines? And Anaxagoras, I myself, show no such connection. Carefully the creator, what criteria did they use to create the golden blood? To shape the Chrysos heirs? Yet Castorice, the servant of death from Idonia, her lineage is neither Titan priest nor demigod, but she has walked the earth for at least a millennia with the power to grant death to humans. Where did this power come from? Another text speaks of the dragon legends of Styxia. The alchemical extraction of soul ripped from the dragon corpses is intriguing. Dragons appear to be the Titan's creations. Perhaps there's a way to reverse the process, using alchemy to refuse human souls with Titan creations, increasing the purity and divinity of the gold blood toward the absolute. The theory must be tested. Experiments to be arranged.
What's going on? Anaxa is conducting research on our friends in Alchema and... me?
This journal contains several intriguing points. Creations of Titans? From the abyss of fate of Tocastro Criminals, I've seen many a Titan creation during my time at Femphorius. Life forms created by the Circes can also be found in the Grove. But fusing them with human souls through alchemical means, I can't even begin to imagine. So, the Chrysos heirs. Anaxa seems to hold special interest in the divinity coursing through the Chrysos heirs' veins, and has even conducted a thorough investigation into the heroes' backgrounds.
It wouldn't have been so strange if he had focused only on Cassie, given her own curiosity about her origins. Plus, considering that the new sporists have crafted omnipotent medicines capable of curing diseases, it also makes sense that he would conduct research on immortal Chrysos heirs. But now, it seems Anaxa's objective was never to create medicine, but to identify the origin of the golden blood and figure out its inner workings.
So about Anaxa's research. Though through alchemy, Anaxa aims to refine the golden blood in the Chrysos heirs to a degree of purity equal to divinity. This must be what he means by close to true purity, but treating both Titan creations and the human body as materials to be used in alchemy experiments? That's rather extreme.
Danny, look at this. I have a bad feeling about this.
Hastily written journal 3. The previous approach has flaws. Fusing human souls with Titan creations does not purify golden blood. Even pure Titan creations are contaminants to the Chrysos heirs' golden blood. Soul fusion between humans and creations are merely repairs impurities of the soul or maintains a connection to dying souls. While creation myths tell us that Chrysos heirs and other creations were all made by Titans, their nature differs fundamentally. The Titans' creations are no intermediate products of an alchemical process, and the Chrysos heirs are closer to the Titans than the creations. In other words, I should not have considered Titan creations equal to Chrysos heirs. Pardon me. The hypothesis I should focus on is one pointed towards the Titans themselves. Such rare chances to study Titans demand a meticulous selection of research subjects. Living Titans proved impossible to restrain, and dead Titans offer no insights worth pursuing. But dying Titans, they are the perfect research subjects. Only by understanding the fundamentals of creation can we ensure perfection at the moment of everything's birth. Through my own hands, I will melt a Titan and reach the true essence of the soul.
My biggest fear. It's come true. After going through his notes, I think I can piece it all together now. Anaxa was carrying out experiments on soul transmutation.
Do you mean he's trying to reconstruct human souls alchemically?
Yes, this is what he was secretly conducting research on. Something he had to keep hidden from others. Compared to his public speeches, this is the real blasphemy. Oh, I just thought of something.
What's wrong?
Do you remember when the black tide was approaching? The Grove had planned to send Circe's core flame to a safe place. But an accident happened along the way, and Anaxa lost his life in the process?
but Cersei took over his body and resurrected him, which led to the situation we're in now.
That's right. But what if Professor Anax's fusion with the core flame of reason wasn't an accident?
What do you mean?
Put yourself in his shoes. Knowing that the black tide was closing in and your time was running out, what would you have done?
I'd put my theories to the test, no matter the cost.
Exactly. When the black tide came, the true reason Anaxa headed to the Luminary Throne was to transmute and fuse himself with the Titan's core flame.
Did he succeed?
No. Judging from how he reacted after the event, the results came as a surprise. Maybe he failed to consider the possibility that Cersei's would make a similar decision.
So they both had the same idea.
The manuscripts detailing all the alchemical formulae have been taken away. His research is still ongoing.
Could he have taken them for other purposes?
Like, what? There's only one Titan left in the world now.
Carefully.
No. No way.
To conceive an entity of perfection, one must understand the principles of creation. If Anaxa is in Akuma now, then that means...
He's after Kefali.
I was right.
Sir, this sky above us, it's not real, is it?
Of course not. This is just an image from a projection device used for educational purposes. A simple trick.
Okay. When he just said the sky is not real, why does it remind me of Genshin Impact here?
The day-night cycle has been lost to this world. So that students like you may still learn about the night sky, astronomers have harnessed the Titan's miraculous power to manipulate the light, projecting the nights of the past here for you. Much like how the sky above the Holy City is also illuminated by Kefali's dawn device.
So, the skies of Akuma are fake too.
You mustn't conclude that, Anaxa. You should know that only a child would expose a trick and be proud of it. Often people know more than they let on. They simply choose to feign ignorance because they have no other choice.
And they're just deluding themselves. People believe in Kefali's tale of Genesis, accepting wholesale whatever the priests preach. But we're different. We've already walked out of the firelit cave of ignorance. We have already realized that we live in a world where Titans make the rules. Even when we look at the sky, we're only seeing what they allow us to see. Rather than gazing at this mockery of a night sky fabricated by them for the rest of my life, why shouldn't I be the one to take control of the projection device instead?
So much time has passed since you sowed the seeds of doubt in my heart, child. Many a night, I find myself penning down all my theories and wild ideas, only to burn them to ashes when I open my eyes in the day.
Why? Because we'll face death by burning if word gets out?
As a sage of the Venerationists, my soul has already become inextricably linked to the great tree. Every word I say and every move I make is certain to influence every leaf, every branch, even the tree itself. But above all else, my days are numbered. Instinctively, I have my doubts about the golden blood and the human soul, yet I have no means of verifying them. The golden blood in my veins is woefully thin, and I am loath to waste what little time I have left obsessing over a hypothesis that cannot even be proven in the first place.
But I can, sir. I can do it for us. The time is right. Give me all that I need, and I shall accomplish this grand feat on your behalf.
You're right. I shall do just that. In the next meeting of the sages, I will spare no efforts fighting for the rights you deserve. Go. Establish your own school of thought. Find out what we are. Become the one who conquers the ultimate truths of the world.
Okay.
Child of humanity, you didn't go to such lengths for an audience with Kefali. Just ask him a few questions, did you?
So, you figured it out. If I were as foolish as a Dromus, perhaps I'd throw myself down and prostrate before their greatness, begging for the gods' prophetic wisdom. Well, sorry to disappoint, but I'm no Dromus. Alas, I am a human, standing tall on 2 feet, possessing both intellect and pride.
Before such power, does it make any difference whether you're a human or a Dromus?
I'm sure you're familiar with the story of the Styxians. When the raging waves threatened to swallow them, they didn't just give up and become sitting ducks. No. They constructed a dam that kept the roaring tide at bay, chaining down the mad Fagusa.
So, to me, this looks like a new place to go to. Maybe a new area in this chapter. Maybe.
They call me a blasphemer, Circes. But that doesn't mean I deny the existence of gods. It's just as I see it. Titans are simply a force that mankind has yet to find a way to tame.
Oh? If power that rivals the Titans is what you crave, why not conform to the prophecy and brave the trial?
Why stop at harnessing the power of the Titans when I can do so much more? The source of life is what I wish to grasp, to understand what makes up the soul, and to learn what we really are. Thanks to you, I've had the chance to personally verify, in more ways than one, that the soul indeed ceases to exist in death. But where there is death, there is life. And where there is an end, there must also be a beginning. How then is a soul born? That was the only unknown variable left in my calculations.
And by the sound of it, you have already formed a conjecture.
No, I have already drawn a conclusion. In my journey unto death just now, I finally saw the answer with my own eyes.
Professor Anaxa,
Cassie?
I'm here. Her life hangs by a thread. I must ask you to refrain from taking any unnecessary steps.
Of course. I'll bring this to a conclusive end, and give you the answer you so desire. However, in accordance with the principle of equivalent exchange, I must also demand from you what I need.
What is it?
As you wish.
Don't you care to know what the price might be?
It's a matter of uncovering the truth about the Death Titan and her survival. This may be the only time I can ever save someone's life. There is no need for me to think twice.
I see. In that case, let the show begin.
Indulge me. Am I correct to say that you intend to prove Thanatos' whereabouts and prove the nature of our existence now?
Before I begin, I must confess I had been stuck in a cognitive trap all this time. As unrelated as these two propositions may seem at first glance, they are in fact logical equivalents. They are merely two different ways of telling us about what the soul is at its core. The reason I say this is as I've mentioned earlier. The answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Anaxa, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now, but that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes. That's not all. Remember how I said you were a part of that conversation too, Circes?
And I've told you that I have no recollection of such an event. That was likely just an illusion conjured up by the mind of a dying man.
Of course you wouldn't remember, because that wasn't you. That was Calypso, one of the 7 sages of the Grove.
Calypso?
That's the name I made up on a whim when speaking to this girl. How do you know of it? And surely you jest. Don't you think I, of all people, would know if that were the name of one of the 7 sages under the shade of my tree? Don't you claim to know the Grove's past like the back of your hand?
It seems you've lost even the memories seared into your soul. Use your head, Circes. Since all of this took place in the realm of the dead, it stands to reason their likenesses are of souls from the past. The living cannot step foot into that world. So who could they be? Think about Calypso. Why does she share your likeness? Yet you have no idea who she is. The answer is evident, is it not? Those fallen heroes are the mortal incarnations of the Titans before their ascensions to godhood. The gods aren't master creators born out of thin air, and they are no different from humans, because they all evolved from one.
So they were demigods ascended to godhood. Oh. Yeah.
Does this answer disappoint you?
Yes, because you've answered nothing. If I truly was once human, as you claim, then where do the children of humanity come from?
Even on the off chance that you speak the truth, this brings us no closer to grasping Thanatos' whereabouts. How are we to find them?
I knew you would say that, but it matters not. I know what I'm doing. Actually, why don't we have this supreme being standing before us tell us everything?
You can revive a Titan?
Humans cannot return from the dead. Neither can gods. But all we need to do is look at this from a different perspective, and the problem will resolve itself. The solution is simple. Just like what you did to me. If I'm reborn as Kefali, I can rebuild the world and all within it as they once did. Simple, is it not?
So you want to play God? Okay. In the meantime,
I have news from Hyacinth and Danhung. Anaxa might be trying to do something with Kefali's divine body.
so she caught on. But I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna take a break.
Kefali? But what could Anaxa want? Is the Council of Elders going to sit around and let such a sacrilegious act unfold?
That is not possible. He is indeed the great performer, capable of fooling anyone and everyone with his tricks.
I'm sorry.
No need for guilt, for this is good news to us. The Council of Elders has found themselves a traitorous ally. Anaxa's ambitious desires will be something we can exploit. What we should be doing now is to keep our eyes peeled for whichever trickery Kynus is up to, and react accordingly to thwart her plans.
I honestly don't like Highness at all. I don't trust her.
Being Akima's political center, the Demigod Council holds just as much significance as the Vortex of Genesis. Someday, after my duty is over, this site will take the place of the battlefield where you hunt gods. Become the next challenge you are to overcome. Till then, it's best to get used to this place as soon as possible.
We will be waiting here for your good news. Come find us anytime you need something.
Preposterous! The Christos only have their standing because of the Council of Elders. How dare they trample over it?
Oh, shut up. Wow, these people are shooting daggers with their eyes.
It's been a while.
Hey, Kratos. Hello, Oleg of Euphorius. Wait. No.
What is that supposed to mean? Is this really the sort of person that the young lord praised as a ferocious warrior?
It has indeed been some time, Lord Kratos. What brings you here in such haste?
Shh. Keep it down. Be more vigilant. See those duplicitous dogs over there? They do the dirty work for kindness.
I'm pretty sure.
I've already ordered my people to hold them back, but we should still lay low. Unless you're itching for a bloody fight to get a workout in.
My bad. So, did something happen?
Did you hear thunderclaps last night?
Probably not. It would be her not to notice thunderclaps in broad daylight. No, I'm a heavy sleeper. Hooray, it's Acheron! Someone's coming to save us. No.
Thunderclaps are beacon signals of strife. They are a message from the young lord. He threw a spear bearing several words at Akama.
Watch out. The Flame Reaver is back.
So I knew it! He wasn't destroyed.
I guessed as much. We didn't actually kill them back at the Kremnos arena.
I figured this is something you would want to know. We Kremnoans never back down from a fight. So if you plan to take that thing down in a battle, reach out to me anytime.
You have my gratitude. I will let Aglaya know about this right away.
Remind her to be on her toes while you're at it. That vicious kindness has been unusually active lately. Those lackeys she keeps under cover have been going in and out of the city a lot more frequently these days. Some even seem to be getting Kremnoans to defect to the council.
We got a lot of hecklers.
That's...
Looks like you can see it for yourself.
We should get back. Thank you for the intel, Lord Kratos.
Back as my own self here and there. Alright. It's gonna be a lot of activity here and there. It's gonna lag my game a bit here and there. Alright. Let me listen in.
Someone trampled right over the Master's flower bed, yet the Master only fumes in silence. Oopsie. There goes the reputation of the Council of Elders.
Whose side am I on? Why, I'm all for the Council of Elders to reclaim their authority, of course.
Right. Alright, let me read this real quickie. And that is the Theater Beneath the Gods' Watch. An assembly for mortal debates on theater under the Gods' Watch. Here at the center of all beings, we dare to listen, speak, and deliberate. Reason out rules, establish laws, and pronounce death. Again, another thumbnail I could look forward to using, but oh well. Oh gods, does this amuse you? Hardly. Oh, there you go. Alright, I wonder if you guys listen.
They're here. The Chrysos heirs are here.
Oh, I should have gone back home to fetch a sacrificial vessel, some floral crowns, and frankincense to burn and offer.
Oh, Titans! Please, forgive these arrogant and self-conceited heroes!
Oh, I'm already getting an aneurysm from hearing these idiots.
By Catholic into Lenten above, as the Theoros I have observed. Virtuous citizens of Akama, fine Navides, Elysiae, and the Outlander are heading toward us.
Okay. I guess we're gonna join in. Probably.
Aglaya, what happened here?
I know about the poisonous fangs of that king snake through the golden threads. In the past, I would be confident about keeping her in check, but I admit I am now unable to do so.
What do you mean?
It is no longer about eloquence or arguments. I have been a demigod for far too long that I hardly have any humanity left. Before I realized it, I have become no different from these hypocrites, no longer capable of relating to the people. This has come a lot sooner than I expected. But perhaps it is time. I need you to step up, Finan, in order for me to retreat behind the scenes.
Yes, this is my duty, but...
It is far easier for the Council of Elders to fool many than just fool one person. Their so-called more support is no more than a ruse to distribute power using words instead of lances. There is no glory in winning this debate. But that makes having respect for humans so much more priceless. Finan, you are a Chrysos heir without flaw, capable of relating deeply with humans.
I appreciate what you've taught me, Aglaya. I hope we'll live up to your expectations and win this debate.
Here we go.
Oh, you've
Okay,
done
it's
well,
getting
Lord Calictus. Let me take over and personally close this debate for today. Dearest counselors, let it be known that I sorely miss the blissful times portrayed in lyrical poems. Back then, Amphorius was home to nearly 1,000 cities, each with their own local faith, while gods walked the earth and shared close bonds with humans. Yet, in the present, people from all over are forced to leave their homeland to seek refuge in the holy city, where they hope to rest under Kefali's protection. All of us have long been in the same boat, with no way out of this plight. We didn't have a choice in the past, but now, the Council of Elders brings to the table a new possibility. All I have left is one question for you. Would you rather strive toward the unheard of Era Nova, or return to the prosperous Era Chrysia of our past? Make your choice.
Okay, so you're saying you want to return to the place in the past. Why, though?
Now, which of the two would lead mortals to an ideal future?
None. If it's possible to bring back Era Nova, Era Chrysia back, or no hesitation, I stand by Era Nova. Again, choices. But how are we supposed to send Amphorius back to Era Chrysia?
We all know that Era Chrysia is a thing of the past, Lady Kainas. Please, enlighten me. How does the Council of Elders plan to turn back time?
Let the 3 Titans of Calamity be born, and Era Chrysia is nevermore. But bring demise to those Titans, and Era Chrysia will descend upon us again.
Cass?
Know that the Council of Elders is never one to make empty promises. Look at who we have on our side.
Castorice? What are you doing there?
Anaxagoras, one of the Grove's 7 sages. And Castorice, Idonia's goddess of death. With the help of these 2 heroes, I can promise all of you that Era Chrysia will exist once more.
Aren't they Chrysos heirs? They're supporting the Council of Elders instead?
It's clear from the start that these heroes do not get along well in their group. All the more proof that Aglaya is unfit to speak on behalf of every Chrysos heir. I am in favor of Era Chrysia.
Era Chrysia! Era Chrysia!
How long are they gonna go on? Why? You were supposed to be the 3rd wife. Why did you betray me?
Castorice? Why are you standing over there?
You finally arrived, Anaxa. So have you. Cass.
Don't worry, Aglaya. Well, I know that you have many queries. Could you continue to converse like how the citizens normally do? Tell me, dear citizens, if we successfully retrieve and return Thanatos' core flame without anyone passing the Death Titan's trial, what would happen next?
The answer is simple. We will have a chance to rid the world of death and bring Amphorius back to an era when all beings live forever. We'll usher in a new future that will be entirely different from the flame chase journey.
This is a thing I do understand. I know, I ain't gonna trust you. You are insane. Like, why would you want to bring a thing from the past? I don't know. I don't understand. Nothing like that can last forever, right? Things must have changed. I just don't understand it.
He's one of the 7 sages. That's impossible.
Your proposal is much too idealistic. As long as the Black Tide still exists, how can we go back to the old days?
Remember what I previously said? Kefali's core flame is guarded by the secret power of the Council of Elders. Plus, Pagusa's water curtain will be able to block out any external perceptions. Tell me, dear citizens, have any of you ever seen even a glimpse of the threat that this person is talking about anywhere within the walls of this majestic holy city?
But this place will become the Flame Reaver's target sooner or later. Isn't this just survivorship bias?
If we eliminate death, then there's no need for us to fear that Flame Reaver, right? Citizens, let's loudly sing the blessed hymn. Oh, beautiful old world, where are you now? Oh, legendary Erechrysia, return to the mortal realm.
After the destruction of the 3 Titans of Calamity, the Flame Chase journey will have to end.
The members of the Council of Elders are cheering in excitement.
This is bad. The masses are now totally riled up.
Anaxa, pray tell. Everything that you've mentioned hinges on the premise that we can find Thanatos' existence, right?
Thank you, Lady Aglaya, for still caring about this city. However, dear citizens, we are truly fortunate and blessed. For Castorice, Idonia's goddess of death, will surely find Thanatos under my guidance.
What?
With that, I solemnly promise that the core flame Lady Castorice brings back will be personally managed by the Council of Elders. Thereafter, if we are able to garner the support of all of you at the Citizens' Assembly, we shall spare no effort in ensuring that the Erechrysia will return to our world once again.
The members of the Council of Elders are cheering in excitement yet again.
With the balance shattered, the result is clear. By Kefali into Lenten above, as the Theoros, I have observed, Akama has chosen her destiny. The issue up for discussion at this Citizens' Assembly shall be modified to the suspension of the Flame Chase journey. This resolution shall be put up on the Wall of Heroes, such that all citizens are aware of the city's way forward.
The Elders are cheering in excitement again.
Aglaya, dear Aglaya, what has caused your heart to soften? You also don't seem to be as quick-witted as before.
Wag your tongue as much as you like. Since the Flame Chase journey has been preordained by the prophecy, our failure has never been on the cards.
Well then, I guess we'll find out if that's true at the Citizens' Assembly.
Lygus announces the conclusion of the debate, and the attendees part ways. Castorice, what is going on? Why do you betray the wife? Sorry. I guess I can't talk to anybody else but you.
Well, it seems that when I sent you to look for Anaxa, I unintentionally facilitated your partnership with him instead.
Explain, wife.
My apologies, everyone. I know that you have many questions to ask me. I will answer them to the best of my knowledge.
I honestly kind of figured that she may have her own reasons why she did this. I kind of understand. But what is the reason?
In that case, please tell us as much as you can.
I like the fact that I am being given an option to say, hold on, I'm not ready. Like, I'm not ready to go forward yet. So what happened when you went to look for Anaxa?
In actuality, he showed me a past that was both long and heavy.
I'll go auto here, so I won't have to comment on everything.
The reason I say this is as I've mentioned earlier. The answer was hidden in my journey unto death.
Anaxa, you were in the Netherrealm?
Yes, I am but a living dead man now. But that's not important. What truly matters is, I overheard a conversation between heroes.
Have you heard of this tale before? A tale about the ocean god's treasured pearl, our hometown. It was a seaside town which enjoyed the ocean breeze and glorious, peaceful times, thanks to the wisdom of its ruling queen.
Okay, we got more Spartans or Trojans here, and it looks like I'm having a dragon here. Right. I also found out and recently just figured out that there's Polixia, and the character's POV is Castorice. It kind of reminds me it was inspired by the actual fable of Castor and Pollux. Right?
Until one day, an evil dragon descended upon the town. Its wings were large enough to blot out the sun, while its claws were sharp enough to rip the waves apart. It barged into the tall tower and devoured the queen's beloved daughter. It even settled itself in her bedroom, like a tyrant king. The queen assembled 300 warriors who managed to subdue the evil dragon by chaining it up. However, when the queen slit open the dragon's belly, she realized that the princess had long since been digested, and all that was left of her was a pile of bones. Devastated, the queen wept for several days. It was then that a devious, smooth-talking scholar arrived at the palace and suggested that the princess could be revived through the use of dragon bone and dragon blood. That liar called this process the secret art of alchemy. The princess was reborn! The queen was overjoyed, blissfully unaware that the evil dragon's soul still lurked within the princess's body. As revenge, the evil dragon swallowed the poor queen, the glib liar, the courageous warriors, and all of the town's innocent civilians in a single gulp. Worse still, the souls of the deceased were refused entry to the Netherrealm because they were filled with regret. Forced to roam the mortal realm, these resentful souls ultimately converged into a river of souls that would not retreat for a long time. The terrifying death had consumed all. Thereafter, our hometown fell into ruin as well.
Until?
Till what?
Until? Actually, I don't know what happened next either.
Oh my. It seems that you still like to whet people's appetites even after all this time, Polixia. So, according to your story, this is how I used to look? It's practically a mirror image. And yet, what exactly is this?
A miracle that I created with alchemy. As for what it is and how I was able to accomplish it, I'll keep the answers to myself for now.
This probably has something to do with your eye.
Oh my goodness. Is this cliffhanger really necessary?
Quiet, Titan. Continue to enjoy this splendid play, and the truth will naturally reveal itself.
Dragon, huh? I've heard this legend before.
In that case, what do you think of it?
I think that this so-called alchemy was a tenuous analogy added to the story by future generations. After all, you've never heard of a tradition of alchemy in your hometown before, have you?
Indeed. Before I left home to pursue my education, I never even knew that anybody was looking into this area of study.
Therefore, we can just treat this tale as a fable told to young children.
A fable, you say? If so, what moral is it trying to impart to the kids?
I guess it might be the concept of equivalent exchange?
Oh? I thought the moral might be closer to something like honor the dead.
Huh.
What? At a loss for words?
No, I merely realized that we're both thinking of the same principle. If life is priceless, then there is hardly anything else in this world that is of equal weight to it, right?
Indeed. As expected of the wisest scholar in the land.
You flatter me. Why don't I ask you a question as well, as a form of equivalent exchange?
Of course. What is your question?
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
What?
Sorry about that, guys. I was on my phone just rang and someone kind of called me, and I didn't pay attention to this. So sorry about that if it's like long and all that stuff.
What kind of strange question is this? I got it. You're just trying to get me to tell you whether I like anyone, right?
Also, if I had seen this a little closer, I didn't get to look. It looks like it may look like Castorice to me, but look at her. It looks like she has a dragon's claw on half of her face, but she's all wrapped in gauze. Maybe. Like she's a sickly person and... yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. That was rude of me.
Yes, I would.
Oh?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I'm certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good. If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. After all, you, me, and the rest will all have to face that fateful moment eventually. My time is finally here. However, perhaps because of my firm belief in the immeasurable value of life, I am unable to complete the trial.
Oh. I wonder why.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame. It is a pity that fate is such a cruel mistress.
Is there no other way of interpreting those words?
I'm afraid that the meaning is clear. Between my sister and me, one must pay the price. Our trial can only be completed when the one chosen sacrifices her life.
So, twin sister, I both assume? Wow.
I'm afraid that the prophecy might even have selected a pair of twins for this exact purpose.
Fortune makes fools of us all.
My sister is prepared to sacrifice herself. And yet, I can't do the same.
I'm not sure if anyone who plays the game, this chapter knows about this, but I think they do. Look at the background here. We're at the Vortex of Genesis, and look at this. All of them are, all but the Hand of Shadow is awakened. Or not really awakened, but more like offered. So, Polyxia is the only person left here.
How absurd. My time is almost up, but I'm still afraid to welcome death. What should we do? If I'm ultimately not able to make up my mind...
Since Chaos is willing to guide all of us and leave this trial to the end, there is still plenty of time for you to ponder.
That's right. Don't allow the fog of an uncertain future to cloud your mind.
Trial, prophecy, the topics that they're discussing seem familiar.
Because they are.
But these three people must not have left their names in the epics. Otherwise, I would have some recollection of this.
There's a reason, I believe.
Amphorius's history before the Titans were born was complete chaos. Is that not strange by itself? I have long held 3 hypotheses about this. However, let's continue watching for now.
Calypso, Polyxia, and this warrior. I seem to have met him somewhere before.
Indeed you have, Cassie. Indeed you have.
Regarding this matter, Nias, are you confident that you'll complete your trial?
Of course. Though, I am worried about what will happen once I've emerged victorious.
Looks like you have made up your mind.
Yes, this is the safest course of action.
Completely separating courage, honor, tenacity, sacrifice, and reason. You really know how to make things difficult.
Please, young lady, witness my fall and demise. Lady Calypso, you shall host the soul-rending ceremony.
I do not understand. Why would you dare to sacrifice yourself for a future that you won't get to witness?
Because this is our destiny. The power that resides within me is so intense that I will one day be engulfed by it. Furthermore, a valorous death before glorious return has always been the path I chose to walk. A journey I began long ago. If your sister or Chaos were in my position, I believe they would make the same choice as well.
I'm not that brave. I don't know how I'm supposed to face such a serious affair.
Despite being Death's chosen one, it seems you still don't know how to face it. Let's chat, young lady. Perhaps I shouldn't end my journey so hastily. Since there's still time, I'm not worried about letting fate wait a little longer.
Of course. This warrior is Lord Nias. As the embodiment of Nikador's divinity, he entrusted his life to us and allowed humankind to end his madness. That means that what I'm currently seeing before my eyes is, in fact...
Looks like one hypothesis of mine has already been proven true. These heroes are the true forms of the Titans, before they attained their divinity. If so, the chosen one of death that he speaks of is actually...
Polyxia? Is the previous form of Thanatos? But her appearance...
If this is true, as long as we can find out where she went, we'll naturally be able to figure out the location of the Death Titan.
But before that, we first need to witness what ultimately happened to Lord Anaias.
So, look at these things here.
Nikador's courage is a testament that they have never once retreated from a battle.
I've heard that these words are still engraved in Castrum Kremnos even today. It didn't occur to me that they were actually part of an alchemical formula.
Right. Is there anything else here? Seeing these glowing spots here and there.
Lord Anaias' honor is sealed here.
Incredible. The honor in this child's soul is so light.
Right. Is there anything else?
I believe that his tenacity is sealed within this statue.
Before we fought Nikador, we also released it from the stone statue.
So that's 1, 2, and 3, and 4.
Sealed within this statue is undoubtedly his sacrifice.
They use their own body as our city walls, keeping out and protecting us from the pervasive spread of madness. They are acutely aware that if the end times were to arrive, there would be nothing left in this world to conquer.
Alright, and our final one here.
Honor, courage, tenacity, sacrifice.
And finally, the only thing that remains is reason.
Cheer up, young lady. There is no need to shed tears over a glorious death.
All farewells in this world are sorrowful, Lord Anaias.
No, young lady. As a warrior, I have witnessed too many bitter deaths. But now, all I feel is peace. I did not know until this moment that mortals could live their lives in such a way.
Although only a sliver of your soul remains, you remain so optimistic. Or maybe the truth is that you aren't able to feel sorrow anymore.
To be honest, I don't know either. But I am certain of one thing. This is not an acceptance of death nor apathy toward it. It's not even a feeling of despair. I am just enjoying what remains of my life to the fullest.
Enjoying?
Indeed. Along this journey that we've taken together, not only have I changed the world, I myself have also changed in the process. And now I have reached the journey's end. When I look back and see the grand epic that I've personally written, how could I not revel in that fact?
But when you depart the mortal realm, won't all of your accomplishments be reduced to nothing? Separation and death are two sides of the same coin. Reconciling this doesn't come easily for a mortal.
Finally, let me recount to you a story of mine, young lady. The first time I returned from the battlefield, I felt extremely hollow. The calamity had devoured everybody on the battlefield but me. When I returned to the city alone, the citizens held a banquet for me that was far from pleasant. I felt as though I was still on the battlefield, and the person who had returned was nothing but an empty shell. It was late into the night by the time the banquet ended. My head still reeling, I returned alone to the barracks. On the way back, I encountered someone. It was a crazed scholar looking at the night sky and muttering to himself by the side of the road. Although I tripped over him and fell, I wasn't angry in the slightest. And maybe because I saw myself in him, I inexplicably asked him a question. Do you think that it'd be better if we just died on the roadside like a couple of stray dogs? To my surprise, he shrugged his shoulders and sighed.
To someone who is currently experiencing death, dying and living afford the same amount of bliss. Now please go away and don't block my starlight.
Something just clicked. I recognize the voice. It's Penacony. He reminds me of old Tyrion when Acheron was helping him or escorting him in the, I guess, the place, right? I have to say, and I will say this only once, guys, whoever voiced Gnias here has done a really freaking good job on playing this guy. Like, he went all out in the last freaking chapter, as well as, yeah, I really liked how he's just going into this role of this character here.
Are you trying to say that there is no difference between living and dying? For they are both journeys that lead toward death?
That's exactly what life is, and death is, but a scale to measure how valuable the journey was. Journeys and epics are only glorious and magnificent because all things eventually fade to dust. Therefore, young lady, don't detest your fate. Instead, willingly and respectfully embrace it.
The embodiment of strife telling me about the majesty of the world.
Indeed. I believe that when the fated moment eventually arrives, you will be able to understand my words. It is time for me to knock on death's door. I will set up a long table at the end of the road and humbly await your arrival. When that moment finally comes, let us drink and be merry then.
I knew this day would eventually come.
Is it her trial?
Are the both of you ready?
Wait, her sister's here?
Mm-hmm. Polixia.
The ribbon. Is that you?
I'm here.
Oh, it's Castorice. Castorice. Yeah. Why though? Why though?
What? This...
This is quite interesting indeed.
Is this... Polixia's sister?
Now that's raising some eyebrows.
Is it... me?
Possibly, maybe, maybe not.
Now, it's time for us to fulfill our promises. Are you afraid? What are you afraid of?
That I won't be able to do it.
You shall wither, and through that, the dead will sprout again from the remains, and be reborn with the dead flame.
Yeah, you just clicked on something here. I just had something to think of. If Thanatos is really her in all, kind of makes sense why Castorice is searching for her one thing that she's been searching for. Like, why is she just only granted the blessing of death? My guess is, the way I'm looking at this here, it's either she looks like she's about to die in a few moments and she's in a wheelchair. She is deathly, meaning she might be the death part of it. But all in all, she is healthy. She is looking youngly. No scratches on her. That would be the life aspect of life and death. I'm thinking twins, you know, other halves and the halves. But it's kind of, I think it's going to be the opposite. Like, she's carrying on the will of life and she's just carrying on the blessing of death. Blessing in life, blessing in death. I don't know. I'm just overthinking things here.
As foretold in the prophecy and according to our vows, once it all ends, we must face our fated moment head on.
Even if it was prophesized, do we have no say in the matter? It's so unfair. Why are we the only ones who are forced into mutual destruction?
Yeah.
Let me do it, sister. Let me be death's sacrifice. I was never long for this world anyway. But you're different. I was the one who wasted your life after all.
You're wrong, Polixia. I don't think that my life was wasted. Just the opposite. When I finally arrived at this destination and looked back at the journey I took, I discovered that flowers had long since bloomed along the path I walked. It was you who sowed the seeds for this sea of flowers, one that is more beautiful than the promised land at the end of the world. Besides, I have lived a fulfilling life. Even though I was fated for sacrifice, none of the things that I've experienced will dissipate. Instead, they'll forever live on as memories inside your head. Will they not?
How could my memories of you ever compare to the actual you?
Well then, tell me, what exactly are we?
The same question. That's the only question that's been going on in this fucking chapter. What are we? Ask by heart. What are we? What are we? I have no idea. Are we human? Are we Titan? Or are we nothing?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But regardless of what the answer is, regardless of how we're shaped by others, or even by this world, ever since we were born, the fact that we existed was predestined, and nothing could erase it. This is why I will always, always be by your side. We're twins, after all. All right, my dear Polixia. It's time to extract my heart and light the flame of death. After that, use it to plant the first bud in the prophesied new world.
Sad it is. And there's a dagger.
If I imparted my knowledge of the art of alchemy to you, would you use it to resurrect someone you loved?
Death is inevitable. In the days to come, I am certain that someone whom I cherish deeply will leave me for good.
By her own hand, huh?
If such a mighty power really existed, I think I would use it without hesitation. Even now, my answer remains the same. This is why, sister, I promise you, in the prophesied new world, I shall plant the first bud on your behalf. Go now. Return to the ocean god's treasured pearl. Our hometown.
Again, I keep thinking that this might be our next location to go to.
I shall open wide the entrance to the nether realm and grant you a second life. The living beings on this earth shall respond to my call and lead you to the sacred daylight. Remember, do not look back on the land of the dead, and do not stop moving. In the new world promised by the prophecy, march toward your new life. Ask for the price of our equivalent exchange. Let me be the one to pay it.
Everybody, we've come to the end. Unfortunately, I am not compatible with the Supreme Being, so I was unable to completely fuse their soul into my own body. However, being able to glean all this from them is exciting enough. I'm certain of this now. Before the Titans that we are well acquainted with were born, a group of heroes roamed the land. These heroes followed a prophecy and took possession of divine authorities one by one, until they eventually became the pantheon of the New World. Just like the flame chase journey of today, Amphorius's history is cyclical in nature.
So he means we're going through a cycle. Yeah.
What a startling revelation. This means that the demigods, who bear the core flames, will also become the new titans at the world's end, thereby shaping a new world?
I believe that this is the truth behind the Era Nova, as mentioned in the prophecy.
This is utterly unbelievable. Besides, those twins in the past, even if they really are Thanatos, their whereabouts are still unknown even today.
Are their whereabouts truly unknown? Didn't Polixia mention that seaside town? The birthplace of alchemy and the tale of the dragon. In our world, there exists a city which perfectly matches that description. Styxia.
But the people there worship Fagusa and bear no relation to Thanatos. I have also never been to that place, as in the time of Idonia, it had long turned into underwater ruins.
Take this.
This is...
the new Sporist masterpiece, the Philosopher's Stone. It was made by transmuting all of the sages' wisdom into a single entity, with their flesh and blood as its foundation.
Equivalent exchange of Philosopher's Stone. Anyone want to have brought in Elric here? Someone get the Elric brothers here, because we found ourselves a blasphemer. Oh wait, not a blasphemer. Oh, someone else that created a Philosopher's Stone. I'm guessing that he sacrificed all the sages from the Grove of Epiphany to make this stone.
Remember, I've mentioned before that the art of alchemy is all about conversion, tempering, and ascension. This process also applies to the pursuit of truth. Regardless of how unbelievable this sounds, the truths of the world have been refined from the impurities. Think about the story of the dragon. This stone will lead you to your real hometown, allowing you to reform the door to the Netherrealm and discover Thanatos' fate.
You still look as confident in your victory as ever. But what if your conjecture is wrong?
Simple. I shall merely admit to the entire world that my experiment was a failure. However, my line of thinking will not fail, because I have already planted the seeds of doubt into the hearts of the masses. Actions speak louder than words, Castorice. With the assembly about to begin, don't forget the promise you've made.
I've already searched for so long. I'm willing to try one more time. While we converse, her life is also slowly slipping away. But before I leave, I have another question. What exactly did we witness just now?
That was the world imprinted in Kefali's soul. If we are to prove its existence, you must take the final step. Go. Do not disappoint me.
I understand.
Hey, child of humanity.
Don't get antsy. I still remember the question you posed to me. As a scholar, I do not wish to offer up ambiguous conclusions. Let's discuss this topic again when she manages to find the evidence.
Fair enough.
I merely wanted to ask, was that stone transmuted from your heart?
Is that why he was dead when she found him?
If so, rebirth is no longer an option for you.
Why not? When I was a child, I lost someone dear to me. When I was a teenager, I lost my faith. A while back, although you saved my life, I also lost my soul in the process. Now I'm merely forsaking my body. What's the big deal?
Why are you always finding ways to die? isn't it good to be alive?
This is but a necessary sacrifice on my path to transform into the purest of them all.
Can someone who's dead even claim to be the purest of them all? Furthermore, if your hypothesis is proven correct, does it not just confirm that the myths are true, and thereby invalidate all your theories?
No, it's just the opposite. If my hypothesis is correct, it means that I can actually ascend to godhood and reshape this absurd world that you all have created.
Crazy son of a bitch.
That's a lot to take in at once.
Lady Aglaia, please, let me explain. You know that the core flame of death has always been the greatest unknown regarding the Era Nova, which is why both you and Cainus desire to gain the power to control that core flame in the approaching Citizens' Assembly. Professor Anaxa has come to a consensus with Cainus. They want to suspend the trial once Thanatos' core flame is reclaimed, hoping thus to eradicate death from this world. If they're successful, then the flame chase journey will cease, and Akama can enjoy everlasting peace. But I know this runs counter to your wishes. So long as we do not usher in Era Nova, the Black Tide will never be eradicated. Even with Lord Mighty on the front line, and the Black Tide not posing an immediate risk, the danger nevertheless remains. Honestly, it's difficult for me to assess the pros and cons in this decision. But someone must bring the core flame before we can begin negotiations over it. The Titan could be very near. I cannot let this chance slip by. Besides, someone has to make this trip to bring back Mrs. Soul.
Yeah, I figured that she'd have a reason for it. She would do anything to find both my soul and the core flame. Which she's taken action, I believe. Which I approve.
Well said. You already had every reason to seek an audience with Thanatos. It's that great performer who has weaponized your wishes and placed us in this difficult situation. A world without death. Do you desire that too?
Don't know.
If fate dictates that my path must oppose yours, I will do all I can to resist it and protect what I aspire to achieve. Lord Mighty showed me that without taking the first step, all talk of what follows is moot.
Castorice, you've changed. Unsure of what to say, but offers a smile. Have mercy, Aglaia. Stay your threats.
I have always hoped to hear you speak your mind, Cass. And I am glad to have heard your true thoughts, Styxia. I visited that place in the past. Though it is now an island surrounded by the river of Soul's torrents, it's not hard to see its former splendor. Go. I will not stand in your way. As for you, you are someone who has cheated death.
Yep.
I believe you have more than enough reason to make the trip with Castorice and meet the god of death himself. Castorice, I too look forward to your journey. I wonder what kinds of new interpretations your completed story will bring to the Flame Chase journey.
Thank you, Lady Aglaia.
I hate to put a damper on this heartwarming moment, but if Styxia is now an island surrounded by the river of Soul's torrents, then how do we find a way in? Lady Truby is probably...
No.
The answer is quite simple.
Who?
In the myths, Zagreus once made the domain of the dead their treasure vault. That is to say, they could enter and leave the nether realm as they pleased. And if they could do that, then it follows that the demigod who inherited their divinity must be capable of the same.
Cypher.
I'll see you at Memorial Palace at Action Hour tomorrow. Cypher shall be your guide to finding that ancient city.
The tumulus day finally comes to an end. Everyone disperses, each lost their own in their own thoughts. Ugh. Dahong isn't back yet, and we've got another freaking story. The servant tells of the mystery within the myths, and a scholar seeks to answer a forbidden puzzle. The truths learned during your travels, head to the book and write it down. Okay, so I originally intended to end the story here and there, but I feel like I'm at the good stopping point for here. So I thought to myself, I had some stories since the last chapter, or the last part of the video, and I had 3 of these things here. So I'm gonna put 3 more stories and read some of them before I end the video. So let's go ahead and add 3 more stories. So let's see what we got. Is this one. It looks like something unknown. I think this might be either a Naxa or someone else. Let's see. Those slain chasing people with those forgotten stories I've written. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, Anaxagoras. On part 1, let that divine name dim. Alright. Let's see his story. Before meeting death, the scholar already composed his own epitaph.
This person's name was seldom mentioned by others. Incomplete, just like his fate.
He would sweep his own grave at the beginning of every month of reaping, staring long and hard at his stained hands. Hands that never seek the benediction of gods, accepting only the tricks and plots of his brain presents.
Keep your distance from that blasphemous one, lest misfortune follows you like a shadow.
People warn each other thus before his lectern. In those rumors, the scholar's hubris looms foul and vile. He dares proclaim ascendancy over gods and defy the Titan's will. But the one shouldering each such slander pays little heed. His lonesome figure stands aloof, for he always believed that gods are no greater than mortal beings such as he. Grove of Epiphany, the paradise of the wise, yet harbors one shouldering the name of a fool. He calls himself a clear-headed teacher leading lost students, yet he rarely guides or teaches, apart from gifting a single saying. Yet, for the rest of the student's life, that saying often proves to be more valuable than gold. Pupils often praise his words as divine utterances, to which the lead teacher replies with sharp retort. Apart from destiny, he seems able to decipher all laws. And now, even destiny may also be within his grasps. It was not so in the beginning, as he silently recalls the past under leafy shade.
Faced with a god's edict, even I cannot resist.
With no guidance given, he reaches enlightenment for the first time.
Yet...
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Faced with a...
Yeah. Sorry about that. He will say, yet I sincerely believe that this is not to be my destiny. That became the cause of his blasphemy, and I accidentally clicked over it.
Miracles are the most conceited actions of gods. They are God's denial of humanity via might. Magic tricks are the most articulate rebuttal. They are humanity's imitation of godhood via intellect.
He habitually describes the feats of mankind as magic tricks, proving that the enlightened can step beyond the boundaries of reason. But magic tricks cannot afford to fail, even after a million times. For that, the blasphemous co-conspires with a god. Using the final trick, they wish to create a miracle to end all miracles. Oh. And I'm not even done yet. Yeah, I'm not even so done yet. And yet, with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters are now going to the path, I believe. But I'm not even done yet. Yes. And I have Mim to say, wow, is this a story of a new companion? The one who looks like a scholar of some kind? Looks magical. Bleh. Hey, don't judge based on appearance. And I just remembered, that one is a magician. On the topic of the flame chase journey, he always seemed opposed. Perhaps because he didn't believe in the prophecy. Everything in this world is false, except me. Time for a quiz. What do you think is the relationship between Axa and us? Meal buddies, teacher and students, arch enemies. How about kindred spirits? Kindred spirits. Well, I suppose you could say that. Though the ideologies are completely different, when it comes to stubbornness, he is strikingly similar to the other heroes. Aglaya even permits the Chrysos heirs to study under Anaxa. A good rival is a good friend. Everyone probably can agree with that, at least. Yeah, but we're different. We're the best partners when we work together. Yeah. Alright, I still got more stories to go here. So let's go ahead and go with number 1. Okay, it looks like we got 3 more. Okay, we got more. So let's continue on with Mighty here. And I guess number 3, the day the lion went on campaign. Alright, none may approach that battlefield. The lone army of Kremnos, an obstacle on the flame chase journey. He ordered his troops to stand aside. That was the first meeting between hero and prince. The two men fought for 10 nights unceasingly, till the combat drew to its end. Neither was able to score a single victory, and conceded not a single defeat. None know why this man's fate is always overshadowed by a single number decreed. Just like how none can ascertain how the flame-chasing heroes convinced this man. It was not mutual appreciation, nay, for in his memories, 7 sentences were all his mother to him ever spake. Yet somehow that leader who weaves the golden threads recounted one of the 7 with ease. There is no right or wrong in this man's heart.
The lion has its own historian.
Yep.
And the history of the hunt should not be held by the hunter alone.
And thus he speaks little. Others once guessed he regards the holy city as his home, for he seeks a land to belong. As for the king to his people, it is the first gift to them he brings. But as per the rule with gifts, once given away, the gifter will never repossess this thing. The journey is long, yet none ever dares to anger the man. Not because of his unrestrained manners, but because every meal the heroes partook, we were all cooked by his peerless skill. So he's a cook. Had a cough. One sight serves falsehoods in the woods. He has relied on scent since young to distinguish guests and obtain gains. Yet there are always exceptions. The man's archenemy often puzzled why their food is always borderline nauseating. He still recalls the day he entered the holy city. One who worships strife is bound to have rumors rife.
Even insects consume each other. And he's no less than the Mad King's kin.
It matters little, for the man always considered himself an enemy to the world. He paves the road so that one day his peers would match his anger within. Yet until the prophecy turned true, none in the holy city he ever did ruin. Alright, on to the second one. It's another chapter for Tribi. Or Tribios, or the twins. And we got two more. Long separation. Alright. You shall part with your friends, with your enemies, with others, and with yourself. Tribios, you have already swallowed the fruit of fate. From now on, you shall be as a school of birds without feet, flying toward tomorrow without a moment of repose. The Chrysos Air Wars clamor rises and falls, and when the children reunite, only 3 of them remain.
We have heard of a Chrysos Air,
The likely child says. That person tears open the barricade of the Black Tide, aims at the sky, wanting to contain the core flame from in a sheath.
There will always be warriors like me, who believe in and are willing to protect the tomorrow they prophesize.
But the crusading Chrysos Air never returns. The greedy ones then lift the crown with sharp blades, and by power's lethality, they are one by one slain.
we remember a group of bards.
The taciturn child says. The bards compose songs for the children's prophecy, and along the corpus of the pillar of stone, lay their footprints upon which ballads are carved.
Though we lack the might of swords and shields, we can take you to walk every part of this world.
Till many years later, when the bards all return to their subterranean eternal rest, the children sing the long, long songs, and alone they bear memories of humanity.
We miss us.
The exuberant child says. When they left their home, the passages blew the girl apart into countless turbulent bubbles, carried all to all corners of the world on the winds of destiny.
We will run towards the world's agony.
The children cheer each other up. As the years pass and the sun and moon rise and fall, the children often hear sounds of their friends shattering. Farewell, farewell, farewell. The children who still walk the earth silently hide their retching sobs. Upon the hills of Akama once grew golden figs as far as the eye could see. The remaining children link their hands and decide to make this beautiful city the beginning of yet another journey. The children pull on the hem of the maiden's dress.
Please, listen to the prophecy we bring.
The maiden pulls on her silken threads, weaving in her heart. The children pass into strings.
Chase the core flames with me. I promise that.
The libations poured are guaranteed to bear fruit, the hot blood of the sacrificial lamb, which I could not read fast enough. Please, let me finish. Y'all can pause that moment. The gentle mother silently dreams, and brings her to her child a scent from the west wind's shore. Then she quietly departs, and the only words her child hears is a prophecy of forlorn melancholy. The slumber of titans, the fragmented lullaby, the war of the guards, all merge into a torrential black tide that carries the first demigod from the past to the future. And that was the beginning of this long dream. In this tiny room, she forged 20 years of her memories with time. Sometimes the child does not understand. The gates of worlds outside the window are so numerous, yet why can we not step within? And if one cannot leave the tower, what need is there to gaze into the distance via tomes? The mother smiles and does not answer, only using bedtime stories to once again gild another golden sheen of destiny to the euphorious of the child's dreams. Alas, the golden light of destiny cannot illuminate the shadows of power and greed. All it takes to rob the child of her only kin is a letter of dark conspiracy. The culprit thought the murderer had no flaws, but it was unaware that the lamb willingly stepped into the passage's dead end. Before the priest met her demise, the only thing her eyes contained was spite. Yet she leaves her final warmth and hope embroidered into these stalls, leaving them behind her innocent love. Loneliness stakes nightmares into the child's sleep, and the child hugs those dolls tight.
At the very least, we will never leave each other, right?
Oronic softly sighs and carefully lifts the curtain of time, presenting a crystal given in libation to the brave. Before the doll holding a blade. The Titan loves this child born into sorrow, but has no power to erase impending tragedy in the morrow. Only can they dispel the evening wind of the palace, giving the child solace in sweet dreams. Turn back, Chosen One. The Titan's fading proclamation cannot pull back the string of the girl's destiny.
All shall bid farewell to one, and that person alone will witness the miracle.
In the holy city adorned with falling flowers, the children recall that prophecy beside their friend that has passed away. But the girl had already passed through thousands of crossroads and continues to sail toward tomorrow. Oh, for that bright spot beyond in the west wind and blah 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 spring. Can't read fast enough. Oh well. Alright, then on to the last one. And I hope it's the last one. But I still got one more of these things here to do, so let's continue on. To Aglaya's third freaking act. Curtain of Swords and Weave. A solo lyre's sound flows along the streets.
Oh, my lover. Why does your mood change faster than the clouds above?
Now I really gotta read faster. The audience's face is covered in sorrow.
Oh, how I wish she has clear eyes that are quick to anger and laughter, and dimples that crease in smiles and frowns.
For the maiden he longs for has a body of alabaster and fingers carved by scalpels. In her runs blood of gold and a heart woven from threads. She has neither eyes nor dimples, lacking even a face, for she is Aglaya's garment maker, merely a demigod seraph. Or serf. The gilded dressmaster, the executive of romance. How resplendent would her mansion be above the radiant dawning clouds. Nervously, the visitor opens the doors. Like parting curtains at a theater, the one with golden thread in hand is revealed, standing betwixt figures of stone.
Lady Aglaya, I am Apollos' retainer, here for an outfit to take to my master.
He casts sideways glances as he bows, for the garment maker he adores is flanking her mistress, silent as a leaf accompanying a flower. Slender hands sculpted of ivory pull up the dress's train, as if with one breath alone the maiden will be revived.
The creation of love and beauty indeed.
As the visitor thinks thus, his thoughts prickle the golden threads in the room.
If you wish to embrace such fantasies,
She declares thus on the other end of the golden thread.
you must beware of the scissors that can pierce through the chest.
Yeah. In the ancient theater, there are thousands of plays, millions of shows, where even the god of romance was once an actor. The weaver below the stage savors the show for inspiration. The ostracized poet finally returned home. The adoring lovers separated by misfortune. The hero betrayed fires his deadly arrow into the traitor's heart. The thread known as romance is knit by all beings, by all love and hatred, beauty and sin, memories and prophecies. All that occurs are clothing indeed. Look, the despondent servant buried his love. The dressmaker plucks it up, and into the garment maker's dress she weaves. The elegant garment makers once had beautiful faces, some as knights with swords, some as impassive priests, and put on pantomime after pantomime. Pantomime? In the golden thread's light. I think that's how you pronounce it. Till the stage shook in the storm, and the black tide tainted the dancers' skirts. She wiped clean their visages, and distilled armaments instead of silk.
Use the needle and thread as your sword.
She requests the servants who cannot answer. The garment makers are elegant still. They turn bloody and stained slaughter into the... Please pause if you can't understand that. I wish I would have answered that. I couldn't even read fast enough. They don't give you much time for this. And here they are, increasing their way into the center of the sun and moon. Yeah, I still got a few more to go here. But before that... So, all these stories are really, really old, but I haven't had enough of them yet. Oh, that reminds me, I forgot to ask an important question. How old are you? I forgot, it doesn't matter. I'm as old as this world. I'm a newborn, to be honest. I have no idea. No way. I'd have never guessed. You're way too mature for your age. Hey, wait. Why am I still so tiny then? But I'm so happy that the moment I stepped into this world, I met you. This way, every moment of my life will be recorded by you. If you ever write a book about me, it'll be a thick one. What is there for us to talk about if I already know everything? But my past is a crushing weight shrouded by darkness. There's no way I could remember everything. Hey, that kind of line won't fool me. Just looking into your eyes for a second. I'm a simple person indeed. Yeah. Alright, there should be one more story to go through. And here we are. This is something about Era Nova, I believe. So we got 3 more to go here, and I'm guessing this was a new one, so let's go ahead and read an AXA thing here. Alright, discard not the broken. Alright. This is a tale buried in history. One day a student elated in victory dashed around in the grove's territory.
I saw the spell the professor carved on his body.
The youth with white hair was beside himself with enjoying.
It must be a power most secret. A means for one man to stand against 1,000.
That spell was rare indeed, for it was a secret way to overturn a cart of hay. Weird. The scholar was still a mortal body, as yet to snatch life from death, or to reforge a new flesh through a god's remedy. Various minute tricks and parody. He studied them all, crafting schemes oh so busy, for everyone knows he wishes not to use the divine power that is his, refusing rightful custody. And what in that unwitnessed moment of his death, final tragedy, he still held the hay cart spell steady, standing alone facing the evil enemy. Now that craft is regarded as a magnificent study, not because of what it was, but because of its purpose, known to everybody. It's a long chapter. In fact, he once crafted miracles, forging silent servants using soil as vehicle. Though no sentience, they do their job without obstacles, rivaling Titankin in spectacle. However, one day he suddenly changes his tune.
Creation is the Titan's work, and slavery is the Titan's manacle. When imitating divine evil, there's no need to invest reason, most pinnacle.
Right, halfway done. When the servants have all been recycled, he deigns not to explain, fearing to waste his reason or muscle, so he jokingly concludes the questioning with a chuckle.
If it's just for odd jobs, students are a better gamble.
Alright, got my wise water. The way he addresses himself comes from elsewhere, an imitation of a divine machine with some flair. He happily answers 5 questions for those unaware, knowledge seemingly given with stingy care.
For a wise one, 5 answers reveal creation's secrets, the truth hidden and bold. But a fool learns but not, and is left in the cold. Now, inquire.
He sounds like he and Herta would be best friends. That is in fact the scholar's crafty snare. He hides the answer he seeks behind questions posed by those unaware. Doiling breadcrumbs as bait to lure and compare, whether the inquirer may be worthy of his wisdom to share. The scholar never looks at laws and measurements, ignoring the flow and shift of time's passage, and uncomprehending students gossip in eager regiments.
He is panicked by the flow of time.
What?
For his work is yet done, yet to implement.
This man is too arrogant, and he intends to desecrate Orynyx's accomplishments.
I think that one thing did not say anything at all. Let's try it again.
He is panicked by the...
Okay, why obviously to drag out class time as a statement? The student's answer seems rather animate. She already said this. The stubborn assistant interjects in a rare display of testament. And of course, blah blah blah, passing stage from another school brings us not an admonishment. Outside the courtyard, the gossip flows into the scholar's ear. He silently gives a grade to every question and argument, but none know the true answer, according to his judgment. Yeah, I still don't know whether or not that if it's gonna be completing by itself or not. Well, here we are. Another Castorice story. Here we are. And just thankful it's one, willing to adorn the living. Born with an evil curse, her hand dips into lethal cinnabar and white lead to personally decorate the faces of the dead. Her skills are said to bestow beauty on anyone, even transforming their appearance completely. Many skills were born out of her seclusion, but it painted her dwelling in a gloomy vision. Only a select few have set foot in this mansion, and the thief and the weaver were two such unlucky persons. Lucky persons. The girl converses with all items in the house, with specimens, tea sets, and even pillows in profusion, as if she could hear the responses of those non-living things.
I have always lived in isolation. Out of courtesy, this is how I practice my words and actions.
Yeah, because she can't even interact with the living because she kills them right away with a touch. 'Tis hard to believe her explanation. Her face when talking shows such a gentle disposition, that unless she is telling fabrications, she must regard her partners as mere children. Oh, look at Cypher here, a new character, yay. We're gonna meet her soon. People have passed these rumors down. Within the area of her encirclement, all things become frozen, escaping time's increments. Increments, I think that's how you pronounce it. It is an exaggeration, that is certain. People only found an ancient lion's head in battle's ruined armaments.
Those words are true.
The head itself was nearly dead.
Though they won in fierce battle, the warriors were powerless to turn the tide. It was the embrace where death dwelled that gave early release from their pain.
This is how death escapes time. She keeps every final embrace hidden in her immortal heart. Out of her numerous works, butterflies and flowers often stand out stark. Ignite them, and you can almost hear the maker's remark. Even in death's silence, her sound can still be heard. It is a gift greatly treasured by the maiden. Few have the honor to be graced with such work. Only one has the heart to burn such a gift, and the reason she gives it is rather far-fetched.
I must peer into all fates unknown.
Alright, Glia. Here's some more. The power of time is boundless, but there is one thing it cannot conquer.
Death is abominable in humans' eyes. Apart from my identity, there's nothing about me worthy of praise.
Which is why kindness is hell-bent on making Arachrysia a reality again, because, oh my god, we don't want no death and all that stuff, you know? Sucks. The beloved Goldweaver hears this in distress, then tries to teach her the art of weaving and threads. It had been said that the maiden has works that the holy city possesses, but this is the judgment the Goldweaver expresses.
Ah, well, none can know all things. nor be skilled in all crafts. Her works are too early for the living to comprehend.
And with this, her act is concluded. And the card is counting, and I just realized something. Her acts are coming up here because this wasn't lit up before. I'm thinking. Yeah, when I see something new card, these things are up there as well. And that's gotta be Hyacinth. Indeed, indeed. So, Healer of Light, Hyacinthia, in the courtyard. On the leaves, the rustling wind plays a melody as the girl looks over this courtyard petite and exhales, gently dispersing the palm-held blessings. The entire yard is lit softly, like a dandelion bathed in sunlight.
Is this courtyard a tad too small?
It's okay, Clementine. As long as it provides warmth plenty.
The girl makes the courtyard tidy, and in the Evernight lands outside the holy city, there is now a light curing souls' maladies. The girl's skills can bring forth miracles, but today she welcomes a patient quite special.
Welcome to the Twilight Courtyard. How can I help
The
you?
gravely patient shakes their head.
The end times are coming, and we all wander more and more. Oh, you may heal our wounds, but you cannot cure despair.
But you may as well go see a psychiatrist and not a healer. The girl watches the patient leave, and her heart swells in sorrow.
Clementine, prepare some things with me. I want this place to be brighter tomorrow.
The redhead child takes the girl's hands.
Long time no see, Hyacinth.
Chibi.
Are you here in Akama for a visit, or do you need help from us?
The girl recounts her needs.
I want some shining things, even if they're considered junk.
Multicolored paper bags, crystal-colored glass, cottons variously dyed, and jingling wind chimes. The girl brings them back to the courtyard and spares no effort to decorate all around. And when some fireflies wander in, the girl is all smiles.
Little ones, thank you for your light.
The patient returns here and opens their eyes wide. Multicolored dreams on the rooftop now reside, and the lawns contain the sweet whispers of sunlight. A soft breeze passes with no hint of cold, only serving to wake the playful chimes and ocarinas of delight.
Wow, there's light everywhere. What a warm place.
The news is soon spread by the grove, and people with empty hearts visit in droves. The girl prepares candies and tea, and listens to every visitor's complaints. People say that once a star called the sun in the sky, but now that star is no longer there. People say that Aquila took away the world's light, but they still left behind a heart bright to illuminate this happy dream in the night. Like the blizzards in the month of mourning doth calamity fall, burying warmth and dawn's calls. Orderless tides swallow up the grove of reason, and that tiny healing haven is also extinguished, broken and barren. When the girl far from home hears of such grave news, the wind brings to her a moment of confusion, but it also evaporates the tears that briefly sparkle into being, and that girl still smiles bright and happy. Soon the people of Akama will see once again the girl collecting more pieces and tokens, wanting to rebuild that pure haven. But she never realized that wherever she stood, she herself was that holy courtyard, that light-filled haven. And a beginning of yeah, it did light up here when we complete a story. I'm thinking that this card here will fully complete when we do complete every story act, when we collect them. And again, that is pretty much it, I believe. That is literally it. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 characters' stories here as well. And I am honestly cannot wait to hear more. So everyone's stories are so deep, I can't keep up. Do you understand them? What is a god exactly? Omnipotent, omniscient, always peeking at others, someone like me. I don't know. That sounds so odd. And with such a familiar tone, her past is really something special. But still, I don't quite get it. So let me ask in another way. There must be a difference between gods and us, right? Otherwise, why would anyone ever want to become a god? To avoid being controlled, to escape the pain. You've stumped me there. I don't know. Ultimately, I think this, to be honest. Controlled? Could it be that we're already... if it's because I was controlled that I met you, then I suppose I wouldn't mind being controlled. As I keep asking, I only get more and more confused. Maybe I'll wait until I've grown a little more before discussing these things with you. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video as well. So I want to say thank you all for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please give this video a like or dislike. Any comments will be helpful if you enjoyed the story so far. What's your favorite part of the video? And if you have any questions about the story so far, please put them in the comments section down below. I might answer to the best of my ability, but I am not really... I'm still trying to figure things out as well, so I would do my best to answer them in the next video, probably. And I'm really enjoying what we learned so far. So far, we learned that Titans were not born from nothing at all. Apparently, only Kefali was born from nothing. And he himself had a way to create more Titans, like himself. Because apparently the heroes of the past that we saw are the ones that were before becoming Titans. Like they were demigods. And apparently, we are in a cycle. Apparently, the Titans of old are just normal human beings who were transformed and ascended to demigodhood before they ascended to godhood when they accumulate more. So in other words, this phase change journey is pretty much a cycle. So I'm hoping probably in the next chapter we may figure out, not in the next, I think the next chapter or the next version, that we may be able to break the cycle. And we found out that Castorice is actually one half of Thanatos. Maybe because she saw herself in that vision, that she was a sister to a person named Polixia. It might have been her twin sister, I believe. And she was sacrificed, and she was probably I guess, born in a new life that she could not be in. I'm not sure. And Circe's might have been Calypso at some point. And Nias, we already knew that he was a human before he became Nicodor. I'm not sure about the other heroes though, but I guess in the next video we are going to be finding and helping Castorice out with her quest by finding Thanatos themselves. And to do that, we are going to have to find help from a Crisis Heir and a demigod that likes to hide around. Cypher, we hope we get to meet her soon and soon. And I think I may do an event that I wanted to do, but I only got about 3 days left to do that. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys are new to the channel, please be sure to click the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed my narrations, my commentary, my gameplay in general, the games I play, the cozy casual vibes I bring, and if you wish to support that channel, like the video. I'd be honored if you guys would check out my channel, look at my videos that I've uploaded over the years, in other words, 2 years of my being here, and I hope you enjoyed them. And if you click the like button, I would be honored and be happy that you do so, and supporting my channel by clicking that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated, and I will love you all for it. So, as always, I will say thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the new video. So peace out, and have a great weekend.